As we circle back around, let me just zoom in. Everywhere they go, people greet them. So those were Doug and Stacy. With some fans, and they are the most cordial people you can meet. So.
We totally left the whole city life, our 3,000 square foot house. We sold our businesses and we ran to the country and we built a log cabin on 11 acres and we live with no solar power, no wind turbines, no electricity, and we post videos daily on YouTube.
Yes, and we
daily.
Did this without really having any experience at all.
Zero.
We just kind of jumped in with both feet and we did it. And I look back now, because now it's going on 6.5 years, I can't even believe it. But from the first year we did it till now, I mean, it seems like we've been doing it for 1,000 years, and I feel very comfortable. I guess as homesteading, if you kind of get into it, the first year you're like, oh, this is a little work, and I'm still kind of learning things. And you still have to look at your notes, or you have to look back at things that you're doing. But now moving on to our 4th year, and our 5th year, it just got easier and easier and easier, and it's just like second nature. I mean, it's
so
great.
a word of encouragement for you guys, when you're starting out on your journey, don't get too pinned up on doing everything perfect and doing everything right, because there's things that we've learned along our journey too that we've changed since day one. We started with a 10,000 square foot garden, and I used a team of Belgians, and I was all in it, right? And I got a team of Belgians, and I was plowing the land with an 1800 style plow, and then we learned new ways to do things that are helping us as we're getting older, that we call it aging in place, so that way we can maintain our lifestyle and have it a lot more easier. So now we're doing raised beds and back to Eden. So you have to be able to constantly, adjust to what you're learning and what you're doing. So just don't get real dead set in your ways,
And how many of you guys do butcher any chickens here? Okay, so the first time we ever did it, you do 50 or 30 at a time?
Yeah.
We were just talking about that earlier because when we first got into it, we're going gung-ho, we're doing all those chickens, and it wears you out, and it's not something you want to do all the time. So we got to the point where we call it FOD, food on demand. So whenever we want chicken for dinner, we go get chicken for dinner, and we do it kind of that way.
That's the way Grandma did it.
Yeah. Like that. But we don't do it like that.
No, we don't do it like that. Grandma, tough.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is, because we're having our talk at 1, and it's actually called Homesteading for Health.
Right.
And we're going to do a different talk. Today, what we thought would be a great thing to do is...
Can you get another mic for us? Yeah, and then you can be the mic girl.
And today what we're going to do is you guys can ask us anything about our journey living off grid with no electricity, living how we do very pioneer style. You guys can ask us anything you want to know.
That would be fun. Okay. That'd be pretty cool.
For this one.
Yeah.
So it's up to you guys. So you're going to ask us questions and we're going to answer whatever you want.
You've got questions.
We can talk forever.
Yeah. Well, at least 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah. All right, so who wants to go first? Ask us anything you want to know.
Yeah, be out front here. All right, first thing we got to do is get the notorious crowd yell of "What's up, Homestead homies?" on the count of 3. Wow, look at that lighting. All right, ready? So everybody knows, right? What's up, Homestead homies? Uh-oh, now we got no light. All right, ready? 1, 2. What's up, Homestead homies? Now you guys are YouTube famous. All right, so
And this is our lovely assistant, Hope, from Hope's Homestead.
Yep, Hope Homestead. She also does Southern Mama. They got a little channel called Southern Mama where all these girls get together. They had me on one time. I said, I don't know if they want to have a guy on there, but they have guys on there. And she has a little Facebook thing, and so she's pretty funny. If you ever caught one of her little rant videos on Facebook where she has this little face going on, it's hilarious. That was my making. I helped encourage that.
He really did.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to ask questions. All you got to do is raise your hand. She's going to come around to you guys. I mean, in depth, whatever you want to ask, something not too crazy, and then we're going to answer them for you.
Okay, I got a question. So you do all this YouTube stuff. How do you do that without electricity and internet?
Okay, so that is the most
That's his
obvious
job.
question people ask. All right, so when you're driving around, right, how are you charging your phone? How? Yeah, with your car, right? In the lighter, right? All that. That's the same thing we do. So we have an inverter that we can plug into the truck, and then we can charge the laptop, we can charge the phones. So, I mean, all this stuff is the same thing, right? It takes not much electricity to do it. And then we use our cell phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. So as soon as Verizon unleashed unlimited data, game over for Verizon.
Yeah, things changed a lot for us over the past year when we got the Verizon plan. It's
And that's
great.
another thing about changing your process, right? So when we first got to where we were, we had Sprint, and we thought that was really good. And it wasn't. It was cutting in and out, and we weren't really doing a lot of videos then. And then we decided we were going to go more into the videos and try to teach more and all that kind of stuff. So then we moved to AT&T. Somebody said, oh, we have AT&T where we live, and it works pretty good. And we got that, and it worked pretty good. And then we had a RV couple come by, do it justice. We have a video with them, and they had Verizon, and they had a little jetpack, and they said, oh, we're going to do a live show from your house. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, and it was like flowing, like perfect, like no skips. And we're like, what service is that? They're like Verizon, and they have the jetpacks and unlimited right now.
Well, then he uploaded a video in like 5 minutes, and we were like,
Oh, we did that.
it would take us all day to upload a video.
When we first started uploading videos to YouTube, no kidding, I would do the video on my cell phone. We didn't even edit them. I would plug it into the truck, leave it on the dash, go to bed at night, wake up in the morning, and still be like 30% rendering. I'm like, woo! It took forever to make videos. But you guys as end users, the people that you watch on YouTube, I hope you do seriously appreciate how much effort goes into making videos for you guys. I mean, hopefully you guys appreciate that. I know you do, but I mean, if you watch them as an end user, and I do too, right? But you don't really know like what it really takes, right? Because like even like building projects or fermenting, I mean, we're stopping, we're moving the camera, so everything takes double, triple long, and I just
So whoever you guys watch,
show
just
the
say
love
thank
to the
you to
people
them.
that you watch on YouTube.
On a
That's it.
comment.
Yeah, leave comments, share their videos, because it does take a lot of effort to put up videos for you guys. And we love doing it. That's why we do it. That's why we come to these events, to meet you guys, to hang out, and to share our experience, because we really want to help teach people and get people going on this back to the land movement again.
And ask us anything. Who's
All right,
next?
who's next?
We still hold medical and dental insurance.
Yeah, it's called fermenting, gardening, brushing our teeth.
It's
with
called
no
being your own
fluoride.
doctor.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of myself. No one else is going to take care of me, so I need to take care of my own health.
Power to the people. So our thing, right? One of the things that helped drive us to where we are today is we are programmed when we're since little. When you're in the system and you're growing up the way probably most of us did till we realized what was up. But you're programmed into co-opting out your life, right? You send your kids to school to learn what they want to teach them. Then when they get old enough, then they go to college, more indoctrination. Then they go to their job, sit down and shut up, do what we tell you in your cubicle. So, here's your insurance, doctor's gonna make you well, just on and on co-opting. Go to the store to buy your food, get your milk from them. And then you do nothing, right? You're like this person who wakes up every day, you brush your teeth, you go to your job, you collect your check, and you take your check, and you go buy all that stuff. And it's just, we're breaking that cycle to where people just are taking. Now look, if you have medical conditions and we understand that. It's not a blanket thing. It's just take more control over your life and try to live a better, healthier life. And you do that by the foods that you eat and the life that you live.
Because the medical system is meant for people who are sick. What's the reason you're sick? You want to get to the root cause of why you're getting sick. So through your diet and eating good, greens and vegetables and fruits and knowing what you're putting in your body, like making and raising your own farm-raised meats and all that, that's right there. I mean, you guys right now are doing what you need to be doing. You're educating yourself, you're learning where your food's coming from, you're growing your food, and that's the best doctor you can have.
I mean, just remember, you guys watch those old movies, right? Old Doc had his little bag, and it was one doc for the whole town. Right? Now it's like a whole town for doctors for one person. I mean, look around you, when you guys go home and you live in a city kind of area or a populated area, look around and notice what's being built right now almost more than anything. Urgent care centers, medical centers. because they know this food that they're feeding and this onslaught of unhealthiness is on the way, and they have to ramp up to do it.
Okay, I'm going to teach some of you guys something.
Uh-oh.
You might know this already, and you can kind of help with it a little bit.
Oh, thanks.
But back in the early 1900s, there was Carnegie and.
Oh no.
We can kind of talk about this.
Okay, go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Bring up the box. We need the soapbox.
No, I'm just going to say what happened. Homeopathy. There was 255 homeopathy universities in our country.
America, right?
And by like 1940, there was like none, because in the early 1900s, Carnegie,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I just forgot.
Yep, that other guy.
The Rockefeller.
Yep.
They wanted to use something for their petroleum products, so they
Right.
went ahead and funded a lot of these places that they were going to start calling medical schools.
Not only did they fund them, but they called the people that were doing the homeopathic stuff that had worked for years, they called them quacks, and they ran them out of business.
So all the money started going in there. So at the beginning of the 1900s, that's how all these homeopathy type universities got
Right.
booted out, and that came in and kind of changed the petroleum products and patent medicines and things like that.
How many have heard of the Gershons?
Charlotte Gerson.
The Gershons,
therapies.
right. I mean, they cured cancer, or, talked about addressing cancer way back in the day. And here we are right now. Send us your money so we can fight cancer. I mean, it's...
Okay, but we'll talk about
that's
it.
a whole other thing. We're just talking about the Gershons, and the whole philosophy that they use is healing yourself through your food. And they do like fasting and coffee enemas and stuff like that.
Food is medicine.
Right.
Let food be your medicine, not
That's right.
medicine be your food.
All right, next question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I have a question regarding aging in place and floor planning. So did you do those both at the same time, kind of thought?
Did you say
or-
floor planning?
Farm planning.
Farm planning.
Yes.
Aging in place and farm planning. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, how do you store?
Well,
Like-
the first thing we started was where we were going to put our house or cabin, which way we were going to be facing and all that, right?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he's the man. So our front door faces south, and so that kind of just started it. And then
Like
we
a
put
chicken coop.
Yeah, we did it just like a chicken coop. That's how we did it, and then we put our driveway in. And that was one thing, for a lot of you guys that are starting a homestead or whatever, we did not plan when we were budgeting for our budget. I did not plan, and I freaked out when I found out how much gravel is to put down to make your road into where you live. That was a total reawakening for me, because it's expensive to get your gravel and all that put down. So if you're planning on something and you're out rural and you don't put that into your budget, you got to do that for sure.
So this is like your home base, right? So then what the idea is as you get older, you want to have everything kind of convenient. And not only does it help with being convenient as you age, but it also helps with like predators, okay? So like we live in an area with raccoons, foxes, neighborhood dogs, coyotes, hawks, eagles. But because we have everything fairly close to the house and we keep our dogs outside, we've not in 6 years, almost 7, lost an animal to any predators. I mean, our dog has even chased off bald eagles that were trying to come down on our chickens, So we keep everything up front. So if you watch our videos, our house is here, chicken coop's here, garden area's here.
It's probably as big as this whole, our meat and stuff is this whole
Our
area.
outdoor kitchen is here. So the idea is you come to the kitchen for summer eating and hanging out. Then we'll bring food from the garden right into the kitchen. And actually there's a space, if you watch our videos, between the kitchen and the house, and that's where our root cellar's going. So then everything's in the kitchen, goes into the root cellar, come out, go into the root cellar, get the food, go in and cook in the winter. So you just want to make everything kind of like this. You don't want to have like 11 acres and then have like your apple orchard 5 acres over that way. And our apple orchard is right when you walk out of our front door. We have 5 apple trees right in our circle of our drive. And that's where we'll go to get our apples, and then all the other berries and food to be grown in the garden area right next. So the whole philosophy was to have everything fairly close to the front. So as we get older and older, we're going to be spry. That's what everybody says. We're going to be spry. We're going to be all good. But it's going to happen some kind of way.
Because just now, you want to keep moving.
Yeah.
But like we planted a fig tree right out our front door, and everything is very
And we got
close.
figs on it already.
Yeah.
I placed it.
Oh, did you guys know how many people are familiar with the Chicago hardy fig tree?
Yeah, a couple.
Okay, so I love figs, and I always wanted a fig tree. I'm like, I can't have a fig tree in Missouri because it's not going to make it. and we were at a Baker Creek
Yep.
at one of the
Expo.
festival, and he said, yeah, you can have figs here in Missouri. It's a Chicago hardy. It goes to like -20 degrees, and he says they're considered like a noxious weed because they grow so easily. So I went ahead and I got it was a little stick, and he says, oh, you'll probably get some figs, this summer. And I'm like, what? He says it grows really quick. Well, I put it in May, and
Whoa, what? I put it in May? Go ahead.
I helped. Okay, so we put it in, and it's like got to be this big, and it started growing. I have tons of little figs on it. I still have figs on it. So
All right, who's next?
Chicago hardy figs.
But keep everything close to your front, animals, olding, everything, good stuff. We've been to a lot of homesteads, and they're, some of you guys might have saw that I did a video where I went to my Amish friend's place to do his chores because he had knee surgery. And so I was making a point there that he has chicken coops way over there, then he has chicken coops way over there, then he has cows way over there,
and way over
there, pigs way over there, and you're hauling all this feed around. They don't have little gator buggies, you're walking everywhere.
So when you call it a chore, it was definitely a chore. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
What made you start this journey?
Say it again.
What made you start this journey?
What made you start this journey?
What made us start homesteading? Okay, good question.
First of all, to know where our food came from, because we don't know what we're getting in our food, so that was like a big thing. And just not feeling good and knowing if I put good things into my body, good fuel, just like you put good fuel in a car, I'm gonna be able to feel good and have energy. And so that was a big one. And go ahead, you can.
And we like those animals. We like the chickens and the horses. And we didn't have any of that in our old city house.
And we wanted to get rid of the stress, and we wanted to enjoy our life and just just say goodbye to the big city because we had enough.
That's right. You like animals? Yeah. Do you have chickens? Yeah. That's why. We didn't have that stuff, and now we have it, and it makes us happy.
It mellows you and just makes you appreciate life, and it makes you slow down and enjoy what you got.
Yeah. All right, where's she at? Over there!
First of all, thank you for what you do and what you stand for, because I absolutely love it. I am in healthcare, and you are exactly right. But what made you pick the land where you are right now?
Dumb luck. All right, so we're gonna give it to you real, okay? We basically took out a map and we said, this is where Stacy was still going to work. I retired, I sold our businesses, and I'm pretty much done. And then now I'm working harder than ever. But so we drew a circle about this is a distance of driving. She said an hour and a half, 2 hours tops.
No, I said a little hour. It was about an hour.
So an hour. But it turns out to be an hour, 20 minutes. So we drew that circle though, and then we just kind of looked for land. But we knew where we lived, the southern part of that circle, the soil was a lot more rocky. It just wasn't as conducive. We knew northern, it would be probably a little better temperatures, cooler in the summertime.
And one more thing, we're on the New Madrid Fault, and if we had a horrible, major earthquake that would change everything, the Mississippi River, the way everything would flow in the rivers and all that, Missouri, it would
looked
become
for elevation to make sure we wouldn't get
that was one thing we
and all
looked
that
at.
stuff.
Okay, go on.
So basically, that's what happened. So I got online, and I was looking, and I called the guy about a house, and he said, yeah. And I said, well, how much land is it on? It was like a fixer-upper. And he goes, oh, that's on nothing, not even an acre. And I was like, oh. I said, well, we're looking for 10, 15 acres. And so he had this place. I went there, no water, no electricity, one barn, a couple horses and a mule, and it had a perimeter fence. And I told Stacy, I said, I think this is it.
Oh, so when we went and looked at it, it was snowing in there. It's very rural. And I remember we're driving, and the snow is this high. We're trying to drive to look at it, and we're thinking, oh my gosh, what are we getting ourselves into?
Here's an inside story for just you guys. The first time I went up there after we were just about to buy the place, and I had a bunch of boulders. I don't know if you see in our videos, we had those boulders down the driveway, but now they're on the back of the barn. So I took those boulders up there and I was unloading them in a dump trailer, and I had a big F-350 dually, and I was leaving out of the front gate, and I stopped, and I got stuck right at the front gate. and like in a spoonful of mud. It was like crazy. I didn't have 4-wheel drive, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get out of here. But I said, I'll wait a second, somebody will surely come by. It was like 3 hours later, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I said, this is definitely the place we want to live. But the trick was, if you guys are looking for land, go there at 5 or 6 in the morning, and then come back at like 5 or 6 at night, so you can see how many people are going to work and coming home. We still don't have that many people around us, but
It's just whoever lives in it, yeah. So.
All right, who's next?
Over here. A question that I like to ask homesteaders is, what is 1 or 2 tools or appliances that you cannot live without on your homestead?
Number 1?
That you would have invested in sooner rather than later.
The All-American Sun Oven. I mean, we don't just talk about that thing, we love it.
I use it. I mean, I use it
Every
all
day,
the time.
all
It
the
is
time.
great. Yeah, for dehydrating. I make jerky with it. I cook with it all the time. I mean, it is great. Something in spring, summer.
The All-American Sun Oven. See that cold frame over there? That's our little table we have set up with Parker from Honduras. And we have pamphlets on the All-American Sun Oven there with a coupon code on back. We could give a rip less if you buy it, you know what I mean? But I'm telling you, we use it, we love it, and it'll probably be one of the best things you buy. Even if you're just living in the city and you're thinking about this, you can cut your gas bill, your electric bill, you can cook in that thing, not heat up the house in the summertime. It dehydrates your food, it cooks your food. Like, you know, dude, you could like throw a couple things in there, a chicken, like go do everything all day long, and you come home and like there's your food, like melting off the bone, like awesome. Then it does water purification. What other stuff?
It does. I mean, I
Just-
hard boil
we
eggs.
make
I cook-
ghee in it,
anything you
hard-boiled
put in the
eggs.
oven, you
Yeah.
can cook in this. I mean, just think of that. That's all it is. Oh, no, I mean, it is
It's really
definitely
good.
worth. We had it. The funny thing is okay. How many people before you got into your homesteading life were preppers? You want to call it? I think homesteading is the ultimate prepper.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we were really into the prepping thing, so we got all of our things, and we had gotten the Sun Oven, and actually our first year or so, not even that, it was in the box.
We have a friend like that too. She's like, yeah, I see you guys using that on your YouTube channel, and I've had that thing sitting in my house for like 3 years. I never even used it.
And then I was just like, why are we using the Sun Oven? I started using it, and I thought, oh my gosh, life is so much easier. It's awesome. I mean, I loved it. So we use it all the time.
All the
time. I can't tout how
So what would be your second thing? A tool.
You think of it. You think of it.
It's a tool.
I have a few tools. I have this hand crank chopper that
Yeah,
I
she loves
use
that
all
thing.
the time that chops up my food that I just love. You can find them all over the place. You find them online.
I know that's kind of a hard question for us. You know?
Tool.
I mean, you know, you got your tools that you build stuff with, you got your tools that you eat with. Our mason tops have been really cool. That's been a great tool. You know, log ox has been here, okay. I'll be in charge of the 2 best tools.
He's not there yet. I have to think about mine stuff. You go and talk about yours.
The log splitter and the log ox combination, off the chain. I've been humping wood for 6 years, just muscling it around, mauling it when I got home. Yeah, I'm gonna do this off-grid stuff. Crap!
But see, he would do his work, and he worked hard. You know, he had to do and he did everything by hand and all that, and then he couldn't do anything for 3 days afterwards. So I was like, ah! So this has been a blessing.
That system, the log ox system with that Swisher log splitter is like the one-man wood getting system. I mean, that thing's easy to grab those rounds. The log splitter makes it really easy. So I think for me, for sure, especially aging in place that we were talking about, you know, that stuff's good, but it does start to reek on your back and your hips and your elbows and your wrists and your hands. So, you know, I mean, I'll still maul some wood, but that right there, I can put up several cords of wood now a lot faster, a lot more efficient.
And he's not tired.
And I'm a little more less tired.
No, a lot less tired. And a good knife.
So that's the
A good
man
knife.
side of the 2 tools.
I say good knife. You have to have
Yeah,
a good
good
knife.
knife.
Yeah, definitely when you're doing
And a good
things
sharpener.
like that.
Yeah. All right, who's next? Dennis Allen. If you guys watch YouTube, you might want to check out his channel. Look at him smiling. It's the Dennis Allen Homesteader show.
City boy.
City Boy Homestead.
City Boy Homesteader. Yeah, I always forget the City Boy because you're supposed to be country boy now.
I'm trying.
Yeah. So you check out his channels. He was at the Seven Springs, Pennsylvania thing, and he drove all the way down here too to hang out. So, what's your question?
So I've been inspired by you to leave the city life and start my homestead in the rural country area. So I'm trying to be a country boy. I'm trying to do something with my banking, my money. You know, I'm taking my food out of the big box stores, out of the grocery stores, trying to eat healthy, my medical, you know, doing it myself. What are you doing with your money? I've been kind of dabbling a lot, not a lot, but a little bit into Bitcoin, alternate currencies like that, trying to get my money out of these banking systems that are, you know, one of the biggest problems we have in this country.
Right on.
So what do you guys think about alternate currencies like Bitcoin and Ether, things like that?
I think basically if you're going to deal with fiat currency, which is both of those, I'm going with the dollar. That's what I think.
That's the fiat currency too.
Well, sure. That's what I said. If you're going to deal with fiat currencies, I'm going with the dollar. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go with the Bitcoin. So we get a lot of people asking about that.
Doesn't that support like the big banking system?
Who cares? I mean, I mean, seriously. Who's Bitcoin financing or who's supporting that? U.S. Bank just said that they're going to start doing some kind of a Bitcoin, making it easier to get Bitcoins into dollars. So
But then you're tying it to a big bank.
it's the same thing. That's what I'm saying.
Bitcoin's completely an open source program.
Right, I got that. But all I'm saying is, if I'm going to put my trust and my money in a fiat currency, which both of them are, I'm still sticking with the dollar. You know? I bank at a local bank. I don't bank at big corporation banks or whatever. I don't really have this, you know, big rub against like, you know, the big bankers. You know, it's just not my thing, man. So if I'm going to do fiat currencies, we're going to stick with the dollar. It works very good right now.
And our mattress.
If it does all crash, if it all does crash, you're not going to, Bitcoins or dollars aren't going to matter anyway. It's going to be coffee, toilet paper, lighters, bullets. That's the kind of stuff, you know what I mean? You get gold, silver, Bitcoin, dollars, none of that stuff's going to matter. It's going to be chickens, vegetables, you know.
Yeah.
We'll be bringing that political stuff up in our Homestead account. Man, what's wrong with you? You got a chance to get these people to watch your channel now? You're like, that's what them Bitcoin dudes. Jeez. All right, who's next?
My name is Joe. We have a homestead in Springfield, Illinois.
Oh,
Right on,
yeah,
neighbors.
Abraham Lincoln. That's if you guys want to go on a really good vacation, the museum in Springfield, Illinois is great. Abraham Lincoln Museum.
Well, my wife
What's that, honey?
My wife watches you guys daily and listens to podcasts all the time. And we're wondering if you guys barter with your neighbors
Yeah,
or anything.
all the time. That's why we don't
time.
have a milking cow, because we have neighbors and we get their milk and make butter and
We
all
live
that.
around the Amish. I give them rides.
Trade off
We
stuff.
trade things.
Yep.
Yeah. They do things for me. I do things for them. I mean, all the time.
That's community,
I
guys.
barter everything.
That's community. That's kind of what the man is scared of. You know, you guys are going to start bonding together, and then you're going to do these inter-trade deals. You know, we trade horses, we trade, I mean, tons of stuff.
Oh my gosh, we could tell. Yeah, we did.
I got some halflingers when we first got there, and then I traded those for Belgians. I mean, we got.
Oh, and we got a
traded
good
our
deal on
mules.
that from the
We got
little.
tons of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
We trade a lot of stuff with no cash.
So I learned from you guys a lot and from other bloggers and YouTubers. How did you guys learn, since you started without much knowledge?
Right,
Did you
right.
find some mentors or?
Well, I mean, luckily, so that was kind of another thing back to the land question, is that when we bought the place, we had zero clue there was even any Amish people around our neighborhood. It's like, you know, this is
They were just a few miles away.
This is how the country works, right? So we lived in the city, and our neighbors were like to those speakers right there, and the other ones to those speakers right there, and we kind of knew these people pretty good, not that much, but we didn't really hardly know them at all. I put the last tile on the roof, you know, the last shingle, and I had the front gate locked. This is my 11 acres. Yeah, no one's coming on my
Yeah, when
property.
he's trying to build a cabin.
Right? Locked, chained, locked. And down the walkway comes this neighbor lady, and she's like 70 years old. I'm like, hold on, did you just climb over my fence? She did. And she came down and she's like, I'm Virginia and I'm your neighbor. I live around the corner there, and it's so nice to meet you. I've seen you building your cabin. And it was like, I told Stacy, I said, wow.
And she was one of the
One of her
people
mentors.
in the 70s who was one of these original prepping people.
Right.
She had all the backwoods magazines, all the magazines, and she taught me how to can, she taught me how to forage, she taught me all this stuff that she had been doing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, this is just awesome. And then she's the one that took us over, and we met our first Amish friend, Noah, who has just been a blessing to us and who's just awesome, who's helped us a lot.
So once we met him, then, you know, we were kind of getting more comfortable, and then they knew what we were telling our story. You guys want to hear an Amish story I haven't told probably before on I did the Amish man burned our shirt, right?
I did it. Yeah. We both did it, but I was the one that it happened to. All right. So when we first get there, and we're telling them like our story, and then I'm getting the clothes made, and we're hanging out, and then so all of a sudden, like, you know, everyone's really friendly, right? Then Stacy comes home one day, she says, I don't know what's going on, but all of a sudden, no one's treating me right. They seem like they're not wanting to talk to me. I'm like, you're crazy. I'm like, why would they do that? They don't care. What do they, blah, blah, blah. So then we go in, and, you know, she's like, no, I'm telling you, just like another week, and I'm telling you, there's something up. They're not talking to me anymore. They were really friendly before and all this stuff. So I'm like, what? So I pinned down Noah, and I'm like, what's going on, man? So Stacy says they're, you know, not talking to her stuff. He says, okay, so the deal is they think you guys are running from the law. They said, your name's not Doug, her name's not Stacy. They even had fake names made up for us. Yeah. And so I'm like, what? So they're like, yeah, this is pretty much where it started. So I took my deed to my house, I took our identification, I took our social security, I took everything over there. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get this straightened up right now. So I said, this is all of our ID, this is who we are, you know, so then it's been really good. That's our Amish story for today. Thank you very much. Well, no, and then one more, and then Noah talking about mentors and things. Yeah. I remember the very first time, because I would practice with Amish ladies after we kind of got into it more, but when we first met Noah, he was butchering a chicken, and I remember my first experience learning about butchering a chicken, coming from the city and all that, was in the back of his house in an old rusty barrel. Right. He gets the chicken and he puts it out and he's doing it all, and he gave me the whole little thing right there, and I'm like, this is great. So, I mean, it was really pretty cool.
Yeah, so they've been good mentors for us, and then of course we do a lot of studying and researching, and you know, we're just like you guys. I mean, guys, we're nothing special. We're just like you guys, but we take it serious. We want to learn, and we have the hearts of teachers. So you guys could probably avoid a lot of those mistakes to catch yourself up to speed by watching our channel and being engaged with it and asking questions, and then that might make your run a little bit smoother, you know? All right, who's next?
Yeah, where do you get your water and how do you purify it?
All right, so when we got there, we got our water in 1 gallon jugs and 5 gallon buckets.
I hauled water for 4 years, and it did wear on me. It was a lot of work and very, very hard.
And I always tell her, don't worry about it, man. They carry water in their heads in Africa for like 25 miles. Don't worry about it. It's like, I'm worried about it. I don't like it no more.
So after 4 years.
Yeah, we put in a 3,000 gallon rainwater catchment system. Okay, it's all above ground. It's not in the ground. You know, I don't want to be digging in the ground, doing maintenance or pulling one out of the ground. So I built a section in our largest barn. All the gutters come down into that. It goes right through a first flush, goes through another little filter, and then I gravity feed it all the way to the cabin, and I have 2 lawn hydrants, and we have a whole playlist if you want to see how it's all done. We basically do like a Berkey filter on the way into the cabin, and we don't do anything else to it. We don't purify it, we don't put bleach in it, we don't put fluoride in it, you know, we don't do nothing.
And one thing, rainwater is very, I mean, you know, you're getting the nitrogen, you're getting, I mean, it's very clean water too. Water. I love it. Just, I can't, like, we're at the hotel and just the chlorine.
I turned the shower on, she's like, oh.
No, it's
because you guys get used to it. You know, you guys are using city water all the time to get used to the chlorine smell. And now that we don't have it, you know, you turn that on and it's like a boof.
And think about, okay, how many people have city water and you're watering your plants with the city water? The chlorine, it's not good. So if you do have city water, maybe rig up something where you have a rain barrel or cistern coat for your garden, because you know you are ingesting these foods that you're growing.
Or try to maybe fill a 5 gallon bucket and let it set out for a day or two. You know, you'll get a lot of that'll burn off. She's gonna say something.
If you have chloramine, it won't burn off. But if it's chlorine.
Right. So most of it can get out if you just let it. You know, before you put it on your plants. You know? Oh, to number 2, guys, a question hog.
Yeah, number 2. Number 1, no, waste. How do you handle that? Do you composting?
Yeah, we do composting toilets, basically the bucket with the sawdust. We turn that into compost for the plants, for the trees, for whatever else. And since you didn't ask, but I'll help you out, gray water goes right on out the sink and out to our tree line. And we only use biodegradable soap.
Dr. Bronner's.
So nothing like that.
Castile
we
soap.
don't use chemicals or anything like that. I mean, we're living it, dude.
We're
doing it.
I use the same, so I use the Dr. Bronner's. I really like that
Right.
for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can brush your teeth with it if you want. You can wash your body with it. I use it for my dishes. I use it for everything.
Yeah.
What was the name of it?
Dr. Bronner's.
So if you
You
can
can
get
use
it
our
in
Amazon
liquid.
link and get it on Amazon. All right, go ahead. Yeah, you.
Hey, I noticed you guys are traveling quite a bit across the country. Who's taking care of your homestead during that time? Because what
Yeah.
if you don't know your neighbors or you don't have family? We don't have family anywhere around us.
Well, we didn't go anywhere for
6 years.
Yeah, it was just until we didn't.
And now we're like out in the cage. We're like all over the place.
We lucked out and found, I have a friend actually who found us on YouTube because they were wanting to do a homestead, and I taught with her like 16 years ago.
Yeah,
and
they
she found us
reconnected.
and they reconnected, and she's got she homeschools, she's got 5 children, and this is what they want to do, so they come up, it's like their weekend vacation, so it's
Yeah.
great, so they're there now.
So that's been working out good for us. But like the Amish system is, they call them chore boys. So that's basically back to this idea of community, of getting out and meeting your neighbors that do the same thing. We have neighbors that just moved in that actually.
yay.
Okay, so here's another story.
Yeah, here's a good story.
So we do laundry sometimes at the laundromat.
If it's raining or something, I don't do it.
So Stacy goes into the laundromat and all of a sudden, here we go! She's like,
I hear our video at the laundromat.
So
In my town.
The girl's got it on her phone and she looks up and she goes, "You're Stacy!" Yeah, so they had just moved to our area from Oklahoma, and so they bought a little homestead like
around the corner.
Around the block, country block. But yeah, so they live over there now. So now we're being friends with them. That's actually
I help them and they help us. So now, guess what it is? You just start meeting people. So if you do favors for them,
just build
then
your
they'll help
network
you.
up.
Yeah.
So that's what because they're going to
People
go out of
helping
town.
people.
They're going to go out of town and they have Dexter cows and all that stuff. We're going to take care of their stuff. We go out of town, they'll be able to come over there. But yeah, for now we have this whole cute little family that comes up, and they're learning homesteading, like things are dying when they're there.
Yeah, last time we were gone, one of the ducks
and we
had an
chicken.
accident, got caught in
Yeah.
something, so they had to put it down. And then yesterday we had to put our dog down before we came. It was kind of unexpected. So she said the kids were really sad because the dog.
Yeah, they love that
But it's
dog.
part of life, You have livestock,
So
you
they're
have
learning.
livestock.
They're learning it hands-on. So that works out good for us now. So if you guys want to see us, we got a couple more stops. Otherwise, next year we don't know how it's going to work out. All right, who's next?
I'm sorry about your dog.
Yes.
I was gonna go.
That's the white dog. If you guys are watching Scout.
Yeah, Scout.
Everybody Scout. Yeah.
So real quick, if you guys have livestock, you're going to have dead stock. I mean, it's just part of being in this homesteading lifestyle.
What kind of dogs actually do you have?
We have an Airedale Terrier, and then that's a white lab. And she lived a full life. I mean,
She was almost 14.
Yeah, like if I'm not 96 and you guys are still watching me on YouTube and I die, don't be feeling sorry. I mean, I've lived a whole full good life, you know what I mean? Yeah. So she had a whole full good life, yeah.
Back to neighbors. So in the Encyclopedia of Country Living, she makes a big deal about how important that is for homesteading, farming, everything,
Right.
like borrowing stuff. Like
Right.
you're gonna just be having. So did you ever consider like a community living thing, or like how much would you factor into when you're looking for property, like the neighbor situation?
Right. So a neighbor situation is kind of a big thing to factor in. We wouldn't necessarily think about a community situation because those are like a lot of crash and burns, like because someone's gonna start it and then they're gonna lord over everybody, and like I don't want to be that lord guy, and I'm definitely not having the guy lord over me. So those are really hard situations to manage. Okay. But if you can, if I live here and you guys are like, oh, I want to do like what they're doing and we want to be part of their community. A lot of people always say, we wish you were our neighbors. Well, then get on Zillow or something and find a spot of land right around us, right? And then that's the best thing. So that's why the Pilgrim experiment, if you know about history, was very bad in the beginning, because it was like everyone did the work and it was a community table, and so people would gradually back off of doing the work because Doug and Stacy brought all the food. But once they divided the land up into individual plots and everyone was responsible for their own, then that's when the whole thing really took off. So
I mean, it's just like even the
it's just a
Amish
better
community,
system.
they all have their own plot of land, but
Right.
they live kind of in an area.
And guys, we have land for sale all around us. If you guys want to come be next door Homestead homies, then
Yeah,
knock
we would
yourselves
love it.
out.
I mean, it's great because people are so close. That's why when our friends, the new Homestead homie that moved by us, I thought, this is sweet. It makes your life so easy because if you need something or whatever, they're there to help you. Like they're going to help me butcher the ducks and they're going to help, you know, and then I'm going to go over there and help her. So I'm like, this is great.
And
It makes it
Missouri
so
is
easy.
a fantastic homesteading state, guys. I mean, no laws regarding what you can do. You know, of course, in the city you have the
There are some
micromanagers,
laws, but-
I mean, out in the rural areas, you know, most of them have no building permits, no drama. You don't have to have septic. You don't have to have electricity. You know, you can do pretty much what you want. You can homeschool really good. You know, we have 4 seasons. We grow a lot of food. It's just we have good rain coming in every year. It's just a good state to homestead in. So, all right, who's next?
I've got 2 questions. First one is kind of a follow-up on what you were talking about a community. If you're currently living in an area, you may have a couple of acres and you have neighbors around you, but they're not doing anything. What do you recommend to kind of bring them in?
Bake some pies! I make some pies, come on over. You know, draw them in with, you know, what they say, to the food, right? Right.
Yeah.
Look at my tomato plants, you know, when you're around them, talk all fired up about, wow, this is great, I just grew this, or I just did this, and I'm harvesting that, or come over and check this out, you know, get them involved, you know, because inside of us, I think there's this inherent thing that we want to grow food. We want to be more connected to that. You know what I mean? I think it's inside of everyone. You just have to refine it because it's been almost programmed out of us, right? So once you start doing that and you bring them in and you befriend them and you're showing them all the cool stuff, I think that's gold right there, you know?
Yeah, we believe that community is gold. And that's one thing we're trying to foster right now, and it's a little difficult.
Yeah, it is. And it can be.
A lot of people want to stick to themselves.
Right.
They don't want to
Persistence pays off.
Right.
That's
But you don't want to be that pushy neighbor, right? Like Seinfeld episode or something, right?
No, pies, things like that,
Just,
bringing treats.
just real cool stuff.
Honey, like, you know, honey, if you guys are raising bees, you better be raising bees. If you give people honey, it's like giving them gold.
Yeah.
And that's a great little gift. You know, I barter, like when they stay at my house, I give them, you know, like a gallon of honey or whatever. I mean, honey, I give it as little treats for people and they will do anything for honey and they appreciate it. Because everyone loves honey, right?
Second question?
Second question has to do, what did you experience as far as starting off with no refrigeration, as far as what you missed or mistakes you might have come through as far as not having refrigeration?
That was when we first initially moved out, and we were kind of going on this journey because we weren't going out as gung ho as we were. That was my big thing, is like, I have to have a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
At least you have a propane refrigerator. And then you kind of find out they're so expensive and they're still little, and I'm like, well, I can maybe do a cooler, you know. And that was harder, but now I always kind of got in the mentality is, what did people do a couple 100 years ago? I want to do what people used to do. People live for thousands of years without this. How am I going to do it? So we started with our, the Amish use a big old freezer, you know, like the big freezers.
Yeah,
that was
Chester
broken.
freezer that's broke.
Like a big freezer.
So we started off with that.
So what they would do is they would get ice from their ice house, or if they have a neighbor, they would put their ice in
A
their
freezer
house.
in the neighbor's house.
Yeah, and what you do is you put your 5-gallon buckets of ice in these, you know, old freezers. So we found an old freezer, and it was kind of rusty, and you know, we stuck it in the barn, and we would put ice in there. In the wintertime, you just keep your buckets and you put them out during the night, and they freeze up, and you just put them back in there, and then we would keep our food in there. So at first, my refrigeration was out in the barn, so I would have to keep going back and forth, because half the time you forget stuff, you know, when we were first starting out.
I don't like it.
No, well, it's freezing cold and raining and
I
snowing.
don't like it.
No, that wasn't good. So we did that for like a year or so. Then we moved it into
I got a shorter one and then I put it in the
put it
back
in our
room.
house.
Yeah.
We put it in our house. People are like, oh, you got your whatever refrigeration in your bathroom? Because, you know, we're just trying to try things and see what works and what doesn't work.
And then that lasted for like a year, and then
Well, I didn't
like it.
So then we went to the 100-year-old ice box. We
She had to
found.
bend over where to get in there, right? So then I found a 100-year-old ice box, yeah.
So then we got a 100-year-old ice box.
And that works pretty good.
It's cute because
Yeah.
it has a door. You put your ice in it, and it looks nice. And we had that in the house, and we moved it out, and now it's in our outside kitchen because it'll last longer. Because we found in the summer months, at the end of the day, our house would get very, very hot. And outside, at least, it'll stay cool. So now I'm going to keep it out all summer and winter because it's under our outside kitchen. And in the winter time, it'll stay cool because it's insulated, but it'll still stay cool in there. And it
But
won't
here's the
melt
deal,
as well.
right? So they have ice houses that you can buy now, right? Or you can make. So there's two different ways to go about it. You can get the very thick foam. It's like 7 inches thick, and you can build boxes out of that. And so in our area, we can get ice over winter. So they cut them out of the pond, or you can come up with a box system, or even used like feeders, old feeders for the lick tubs come in, you know, like that for the cows and stuff. And then you can fill those up with water, let them freeze, and then put them in your ice house. If you don't have an ice house, you can actually build a 3-sided structure, put the ice in there, and then fill it with sawdust. Because sawdust is also an insulator. So that will actually allow you to have your ice from winter to winter. So hopefully this year, I'm a one-man show, but we're getting there. I'm gonna put in you guys heard first, my ice house, actually, it's gonna be a root cellar with an ice house built into it.
Yeah, that's what
so
we're
I'll make the
talking
winter ice, put it in there, and it'll last till the next winter. So that's a big project that's gonna be coming up. We're gonna have PDF for you guys if you wanna do it, and so you'll really get to. But ice houses is how they always did it. They would have a central place, you know, people would bring the iceman would come around in the horse and buggy, deliver ice to your house and stuff like that. So it's been kind of a pain, but we have worked around it and been flexible on it.
And I like to go to the Amish houses, and this year, for some reason, a ton of them got an ice house this year.
They watch our videos. All right, who's next?
So wait, I was going to say one thing. So I went over to Amos's house, and I was over there, and I always asked him, how much ice do you have left? So I went around and looked, and we're in October now, and he still had, like, the whole wall was filled with big chunks of ice left in there, and we're into winter almost.
Yeah.
So it lasted all summer.
It works. All right, go ahead.
How many eggs do you normally get?
Today, like right now, like the last couple weeks, about 0. How many eggs do we normally get?
I have some younger pullets that are getting ready to start laying, but normally we would get anywhere from a dozen to 2 dozen a day. But we have some older chickens now, and they are not laying since the days got shorter.
So we like sell some eggs, but we're not like big egg sellers. But that's a good way to make money for the homestead, is to sell eggs. And I was talking to another guy earlier, and deliver them. So instead of like putting a sign out and have people come by your place, you start word of mouthing, and people say, oh, they deliver eggs, and then you come by and like you're all cute and stuff, and then you talk to the old people, and they look forward to you coming by. So then you can sell eggs and make money on your homestead. Yep. All right, who's next?
So I have a couple of questions. One is, do you have a monthly income? And what are your major monthly expenses, if you have any?
Right.
And what about property taxes?
Okay, so our property taxes on our 3,000 square foot house when we lived in the city was over $4,000 a year. So I'm thinking to myself one day, I'm like, I'm basically handing over like a Rolex every year. Because I was like back then, Polos, Rolexes, I'm like, every year I'm giving them, and for what, right? So our taxes now on 11 acres is $400 a year. I mean, stop it. You know what I mean? Much more sustainable.
Well, it was $100 when we first got there.
I put the last shingle on, and the bill went up.
And the girl they come walking down our street.
Yeah, and I'm like, you can get off the private property. But they do aerial photos anyway. So the taxes are very affordable. Any rural places probably in any state are going to have a lot less property taxes than around the congested city areas. So look for that. Monthly expenses, we used to be consumers, now we're producers. So we don't really spend a lot of money. And so we were retired. That was our mentality off the bat. She went from working 5 days a week down to 2 now. And then, we do this internet thing, makes a few bucks, help subsidize yourself.
Yeah, we paid cash for our property. Yeah. We don't have any bills besides just...
We didn't even put a mailbox up for bills. I mean, that's how, you know what I mean? Like, when you drive by our house, and they're like, these people don't even have a mailbox. I'm like, yeah, Bill don't need to know where I live. We don't do credit cards. We don't do any bills. So, we pay as you go, and with that fiat currency, and, that's just how we do it. So we really keep the bills down. But, this is the day, guys, you guys are, like, if you want to be like this home-based business or whatever, this is the time to do it. It's never been so easy. Like you could start an online thing, get your online presence going, you know, sell stuff over the internet. I mean, this is
And people are, you know, wanting to know where these things are coming from. They want locally
made in America.
And they want good things that are good quality.
Right.
You know, like all these vendors around here, they want that so much. So you're gonna see, I think,
There's a
I can
movement.
feel it, that people are wanting this more and more. So starting your own business is, I mean, it's just, I mean, I think that's where it's at. So if you guys are wanting to try to make a little extra money and start something, you know, people are doing soaps and people are making, you know, clothes out of organic cotton, you know, all this kind of stuff. You can do it. Eggs. Are we?
We good?
Yeah.
What time are we over?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
What time? You know what time we're over? Does anyone know what time we're over?
That's good. That's fine. Whenever they say, hey, yeah, but so that's the thing, man. Once you put that mind switch on, because we were, man, believe me, we had an all house full of stuff, bills, running on the wheel, but then when we backed off of that, it's amazing how little money, if you don't want to, you know, spend, that you can spend. You know, we don't have that mentality anymore. Like when we spend money now, it's like farm and home store, you know, stuff we need for the homestead. Where's the mic?
Oh, she's in the back. Okay.
Hi. We're visiting from just outside of Toronto, Ontario.
Cool.
Yay! Hey!
There you go. So you mentioned about collecting the rainwater. Our first thought is, how do you not get that to freeze in the winter? Because our winter starts like in 2 weeks.
Right.
So, no, just
all right, hot tip, insulation and a wood cook stove. So you can put a little stove out there, or you can get like a kerosene, if you insulate it properly, right? Like we get zeros, you know, we get pretty cold, but it's not like 6 months or, you know, 3 months, or we'll get really cold, then it'll kind of come above freezing, then it gets really cold. So I'll get like a little layer on the top, but a 1,500 gallon tank, it's gonna take some pretty serious cold to freeze it up. But if you insulate that room, if you want to stay above ground, if it works for you, you can insulate that room and just put like a kerosene heater, or I have a wood stove in mine. I've only used it like one time, but it's in there, and it will just produce just enough heat to keep it from freezing. So.
And then we put the pipes where it goes into the ground. You put like the straw over it too, and that's it. But really, it's worked out good with the stove. But you got to keep, you know, wood in it all the time.
And then, you know, you're using it and everything, so. It's all conducive on where you live and how, you know, I don't live.
You might want to bury yours there if it gets that bad.
I don't know if you want to. I mean, you might do it, but you'll probably take a very insulated room and then a little source of heat, and you could probably keep your temperatures just above freezing. Do you have chicken coop above ground, insulated? I would look to that first. If your chickens aren't like this when you walk in, you can probably use that water in there, you know?
All right, this is the last question.
Yeah, boss said last one.
Did that Rolex have 2 X's on it? That Rolex of yours?
No, but it was a knockoff from New York, and it had the, you know, the smooth movement, and you couldn't even tell. Get out of here. All right.
Hey, Mike, I just want to know, what is your next endeavor with the animals? And then also, how come you don't do rabbits?
Okay, we don't eat rabbits, so that's why we don't do them. So
But I raised rabbits my whole life growing up.
Yeah. So we don't have any animal on our homestead that's not productive, right? So that's kind of one of the reasons why we got rid of the Belgians too. It's like, they're like 2,000 pounds a piece plus, over a ton, and they eat a ton. So it was like, man, I'm pulling some logs out of the woods with them, and I'm gardening with them twice a year. And then I'm watching them in my pastures, and you know, I'm like, it's not right? So we got rid of those. But just try to get animals that can work for you. You know, even if you don't eat rabbits, you could probably still grow them and sell them for meat, or find some kind of market for them or whatever. Just make sure that you are feeding something that is going to give a return. You know what I mean? That's a great, you got to keep that in mind. A lot of people are like, I like this animal, and I like that animal, and I like this animal, and then you're just like alpacas. I mean, it's like, we got those because she wanted them. I wouldn't be a good husband. But I mean, they're a total pain for us. I mean, we don't have electricity. You got to shear them once, twice a year.
And they get too hot, so you know, it is. I mean, it's a learning experience. But generally, I want to look at my animals. It's like, what are they bringing me?
They got to help produce something on the homestead.
Yeah.
And our next endeavor with animals will be none. We got just a good mix, you know. So we aren't going to really bring on any more.
I'm getting turkeys and I'm getting more guineas. That's my next thing, but that's it.
But then we get turkeys, we just get a couple for us to butcher and eat, you know what I mean? It's not like we're not gonna be like turkey farmers or nothing.
And our new ones, we got the Freedom Rangers, the meat birds.
Awesome meat
So
birds.
if you guys are looking into meat birds and you're Cornish cross people, and we were Cornish cross people for the whole time, these guys are the best.
Yeah,
we
they're
love them
good.
to death. So if you're, they're
They're called Freedom
Rangers.
They come from Pennsylvania. They're actually, get them, we have videos about it that I just put up. It's called the Freedom Ranger. And make sure you go watch our video, because in that video is a link to the people that actually make them. There's other people out there that produce these so-called Rangers or Freedom Rangers, but these are like the people that have it totally good, down, great genetics, great tempered birds.
a family
and they have it, it's
business.
trademarked and everything, so they've worked really hard to keep the breed really good.
They're more natural.
Right.
They're not like, all they do is eat. They can forage and scratch and lay in the sand and hang out, and they're just really a nice bird. And
So I think are we wrapping?
we have to wrap here.
All right, so thanks a lot, everybody.
You know what? If anybody has any other questions that you didn't get answered, we'll be right here. You guys can talk to us over here.
And you guys, we appreciate you guys coming into the shows and you giving us, like, watching our videos and coming to these things. The most important thing you can do is give us your time, and we value that, and we will never take that for granted, and we do appreciate it. So we just want to say thanks for making
Thanks,
the trip
guys.
out to
You're
see us
awesome.
and hang out at the Homesteaders Conference.